Hello and a very good morning, ladies and gentlemen. You're watching Addis News Hour with Zanusam Biniam Gatana. Thank you for joining us and follow the rest of the news. Prime Minister Abiy Ahmed on Sunday launched national summer wheat production for the 2015 Ethiopian fiscal year. Ethiopia expected to irrigate 1.3 million hectares of land this fiscal year in order to raise agricultural productivity to 52 million quintals of wheat. Tegesir Nisa has compiled the following story.
Prime Minister Abiy Ahmed has on Sunday launched the national summer wheat of the 2015 Ethiopian fiscal year in the Somali regional state. Regional chief administrators and federal senior government officials have attended the launching ceremony. During the 2015 Ethiopian fiscal year irrigation program, it is planned that 1.3 million acres of land will be cultivated to harvest 52 million quintals of wheat. During the occasion, Somali Regional State Chief Mustafa Mohammed underscored that the regional government is trying level-based to contribute a fair share of wheat for the exportation plan.
This year in Somali region, nearly 847,000 hectares of land have been cultivated, which is 10% of the regional farmland. In general, prior to this, it has only been below 5% of farmland that has been cultivated. For the coming year, incorporating every best mechanism, we are planning to work aggressively to achieve even more.
Minister of Agriculture Umar Hussein on his part indicated that the wheat production, especially summer wheat production, has been improving, and this has been achieved due to improved production and distribution of the amount of cultivated land. As per the initiative of the Premier, high priority has been given for the production of wheat in the country with a view of substituting the importation of wheat. The government is exerting efforts to increase the wheat production of the country by cultivating the crop throughout the year. And Abiy noted on the occasion that remarkable achievements have been gained this Ethiopian fiscal year.
Last year, we only produced a little over 60 million quintals of wheat. As per our evaluation yesterday, we learned that it was able to harvest over 100 million quintals this concluded Ethiopian year. This is not only good news for Ethiopia, rather for countries that have the same vision as ours. But it shouldn't be stopped here. A lot more needs to be done to achieve even more remarkable results.
It is to be recalled that the government didn't import wheat in the just concluded Ethiopian budget year, and it was able to harvest 25 million quintals of summer wheat. It is to be reminded that Prime Minister Abiy expressed this year Ethiopia will begin to supply wheat production to the foreign market. Ethiopia and Kenya have reached an agreement that will allow Kenya to import wheat from Ethiopia this week.
Welcome back once again. Now step into another news. The grade 12 school leaving national examination has begun today in selected universities across the country. It was disclosed during preparation on Sunday that for the first time in the history of education in Ethiopia, the 12th grade school leaving national exam is scheduled to be administered in universities. The exam, which is going to be administered in 2 phases, has begun today with social sciences. Johannes Fantaun has compiled the full story.
Ethiopia is not a country with long history of modern education, and many say that there is a serious problem with the quality of education in the education system, in addition to the access problems. As a result, various works are being done at the government level so that the education sector can achieve the expected results at the national level. In recent years, among the problems observed in Ethiopia's education system, individuals and groups with different interests intend to use education for their political needs, especially in the 10th and 12th grade exit national exams, by stealing or pretending to be stolen. Presidents of different universities indicated that selected campuses are fully ready for the exam.
Addis Ababa University በአጠቃላይ ከ38 ሺህ ተማሪዎች በላይ Addis Ababa University is ready to administer the exam with about 38,000 students. We have been preparing for the last 2 months. We have also provided good dormitory and basic provision for the students. We have made all the necessary arrangements. Exam rooms, dining and living quarters are adequately prepared. If there is a health problem, we have organized a medical team. All students assigned to our university are entered.
ለእያንዳንዱ ሃይ ስኩል እኛ አምባሳደር ነው ያዘጋጀነው።
እንግዲህ እነዚህ ተማሪዎች ያው ፈተና በራሱ ፍርሃት አለው ፈተና ስለሆነ ማለት ነው። ሁለተኛ እነዚህ ተማሪዎች እንግዲህ ከቤተሰባቸው
Exams inherently bring fear, and in this occasion the fear is compounded by the fact that the students are separated from their families for the exam. Therefore, students are being given orientation from the family so that they can do their exam calmly. Even after they enter our university, all the management members are encouraging the students. We are working to make the students consider the university as their home.
ኦሪንቴሽን ለስታፎቻችን ሰጥ ቆይተናል ተማሪዎችን ስናበታታ ቆይተናል ይሄን ነው እንግዲህ ስንሰራ የነበረ
Examining students also said the fact that this year's exam will be given at the universities allows them to concentrate only on the exam and increased their self-confidence.
The decision gives an ample opportunity for us to take the exam in a safe manner without any cheating or theft. The university gave us a proper welcome. We hope that we will pass the exam with good results.
It is good to see it like this before we enter university. We're well prepared for the exam.
In the past there was cheating. It was known that the exam was being stolen and it had an impact on us. I am very happy that this year the exam will be given in this manner. Only a well-prepared student can pass the exam.
The students said that they were not allowed to bring any electronic device when they come to the exam universities, which directly helps them to concentrate only on their exams.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. You're still watching at this news hour. Now moving on. The bicameral House of Ethiopian government will hold its second-year session this afternoon. President Sahle-Work Zewde will address their session, signaling the directions set by the government. The president's speech last year at the same time signaled focus on sustainable peace and economic integration in the Horn of Africa. She also indicated, among others, the use of transboundary resources remain to be based on principle of cooperation and mutual benefit to realize equitable benefit of resources. Goshu Maleso has compiled the full story.
Undue diplomatic pressure and TPLF's aggression have been challenged in Ethiopia since the past 3 years. At the beginning of the joint session, the House of People's representatives in the House of Federation, the new government vowed to give special focus for sustainable peace, enhanced social and economic integration in the Horn of Africa. President Sahle-Work Zewde made the remarks at the customary speech of the swearing-in of the new members of parliament that remained in the two houses for 5 years. The president has said the economic reform measures being implemented have started to bear fruit. To grow the economy, reduce the rate of inflation, improve the macroeconomy, raise the productivity of local manufacturers, as well as reap more export earnings from mining and energy are major activities the new administration will embark, the president said.
ባለፉት 3 ዓመታት ሲወሰዱ የቆዩ ኢኮኖሚ ማሻሻያ እርምጃዎች ኢኮኖሚውን
Over the past 3 years, Ethiopia has been implementing the homegrown economic reform activities to improve the socio-economic problems in the country. Despite man-made and natural problems, the implementation of economic reform registered was a somewhat remarkable result.
The president also addressed the two houses. The parliament is expected to entertain the concerns of the general public. Accordingly, some opposition political parties have been included in the parliament and ministerial position. President Sahle Zewde also recalled that the government aims to increase its earnings to 600.9 billion birr in the Ethiopian fiscal year that started on July 8, 2021. 83% of this earnings was targeted to be collected from taxes. The government was also aims to secure $5.25 billion from exports in the last fiscal year. She also highlighted that improving the high cost of living and unemployment was the major priority of the government.
The government needs to give response to solve high living standard and unemployment in the country. Thus, these problems are the major bottlenecks of the nation's economy. Last year, Ethiopia effectively operated the second water filling of GERD. Despite the international community pressure, brave Ethiopians have fought well to realize effective water filling.
However, high rate of inflation and joblessness remains the major problems that needs to be addressed, according to economists. On the joint opening of the two houses, Sahle said the war propelled by the TPLF was an existential threat.
The TPLF is trying to move unconditionally, aiming to destabilize Ethiopia by attacking the Ethiopian National Defense Force in the state of Tigray. The TPLF cliques are also creating allies with various anti-peace elements to dismantle Ethiopia. The killing of innocent civilians, displacement, property destruction, human rights violations, among other practices are orchestrated by TPLF gangs.
The Ethiopian government has established National Dialogue Commission to solve the recurrent problems experienced in the nation. The government also formed a peace talk committee to end the conflict via peace talk, despite the TPLF launched its third round of war and blown up the anticipated peace talk. Amid various challenges and plots of historical enemies, the Ethiopian government successfully completed the third filling of GERD and generated power. The government is also striving with production to secure foreign currency and import substitution. The joint session of the House of Federation in the House of People's Representatives will be opened by President Sahle Zewde tomorrow. The two houses are expected to give due attention and set directions on the security issues, the ever-increasing inflation and diplomatic pressure.
Ladies and gentlemen, we are now in our trending stories, and in line with this, the House of People's Representative and the House of Federation meeting will be opened today. At the opening, the President of Ethiopia, Sahle Zewde, will give keynote speech to members of the House of People Representative. To add more light on this and relevant issues, I am here joined in the studio by Habtam Washagre, my colleague. A very warm welcome, Habtam.
Thank you very much.
So, what are the expected outcomes of the House of, that's going to be conducted today?
As you mentioned before, there is the federal government of Ethiopia, that's the federal constitution declares that the last September, the last week, the first day, Monday, the bicamerals are discussing on a lot of issues, and it's expected that the Federal Democratic Republic of Ethiopia, President Sahle Zewde, give his keynote address about the members of House of People Representatives and House of Federation. These bicameral houses are the highest administrative body of the ruling party, that is Prosperity Party. Even some contested political parties also part of this issue. So today, that is the main expected outcome is this house discuss a lot of issues related within social, economic and political aspects. Especially they evaluate the major success stories of the nation, what was happened over the past 12 months in 2022 and 2021, I hope. So this is the main outcomes, especially what are the political achievements, what are those activities related with the economic achievements, even social achievements, and they give directions about in the 2022-23 fiscal year, what are those priorities made by the federal government and those ruling party Prosperity. I think the president gives also direction, those points, especially which priorities are coming to alleviate a lot of problems related with socio-economic as well as backwardness, poverty, and other related issues. we are not bothered about this. House will discuss about the security concern of the nation in political aspect. In the social aspect, there are a lot of success stories made. Even the wheat production is one of the success stories that the ruling party, Prosperity Party, values in its executive meeting in Jijiga. And a lot of issues also expected within Western and discuss all issues on the country especially.
Is there any other focus areas which will be conveyed?
Especially there are a lot of issues related within peace and security. As you know that the federal government and the PLF force are still fighting in the northern part of Ethiopia and to restore peace and security of the nation. This is the much more attention of the government and the bicameral meetings and other mega projects like the construction of the realization of the Grand Ethiopian Restaurant project and other mega projects, water projects, even those road projects, development projects, all projects are seriously investigated or evaluated by the House of People Representative and the Federation, House of Federation members, and they put directions, especially some priorities, which priorities are come first in the season of 2022 and 2023, and this is the expected point that these senior government officials discussed and expected.
Habtamu Ashagre, thank you so much for the update, and we really appreciate you coming here.
Thank you very much.
Now moving to another news in the fight against terrorism in general and the Al-Shabaab extremist group in particular, the Somali government has decided to enforce a new measure. The Deputy Minister of Information announced that the government banned what it calls the dissemination of extremism ideology messages both from official media houses and on social media. Thus, implementing its decision, the government started cyber operation fighting against terrorist accounts on social media. So far, the government has suspended more than 14 accounts on Facebook and Twitter. Earlier this week, the jihadists carried out a deadly triple bombing. The Ministry of Information, in a statement, urged Somalis to report accounts linked to terrorist activities.
በቀጣይ እሁድ ዲሳዳጊውን ቡድን ለገጣፉ ለገዳዲን የሚገጥም ይሆናል።
And now a recap of the top stories once again. Prime Minister launches national wheat production for the year. And national exam begins. Once again, ladies and gentlemen, you've been watching at this news hour with the Nusa Biniam Gutana. Thank you for joining us. Until I see you next time, have a lovely and peaceful time. Goodbye.